Rain came down in Ashford like God was trying to wash something dirty off the streets. It hammered the asphalt in sheets, turned gutters into rivers, and made the streetlights blur into halos of sick yellow. The kind of rain that made people lock their doors early and pretend they didn't hear things outside. Harper Connolly ran through it like the rain was the least of her problems. 8 years old, 70 pounds soaking wet, sneakers with double-knotted laces because the originals had snapped weeks ago and nobody had bought her new ones. A backpack twice as wide as her shoulder straps cutting into her arms heavy with something more important than books. She ran past closed shops and dark houses, past the pizza place where kids from school hung out after baseball games, past the playground where she used to go before things got bad. Every time headlights swept around a corner, she dove into shadows behind dumpsters, between parked cars, under the awning of the dry cleaners. Her breath came in hiccups. Her hair stuck to her face. She didn't cry. Crying made noise, and noise meant he could find her. Mama had taught her that. Mama had taught her a lot of things in the last 2 hours. The house on Pinewood Drive looked like every other house on the block. White siding, black shutters, American flag on the porch, flower boxes in spring, Christmas lights in December. The kind of house people pointed at and said, nice family lives there. Inside the kitchen 2 hours earlier, Claire Connolly's hands shook as she shoved clothes into Harper's backpack. Not the good clothes. Not the new jacket Damien had bought for the school photos. Old stuff. Stuff he wouldn't notice missing. Mama, what's happening? Harper stood in the doorway in her pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. The one her real daddy had sent her before he died. The one she wasn't supposed to keep on her bed anymore because Damien said it was dirty. Claire didn't answer immediately. She was listening. Always listening. For the sound of the garage door. For his footsteps. For the tone of his voice that meant run. Baby. Claire knelt down, grabbed Harper's face with both hands. Her palms were cold. Her eyes were too bright. Baby, I need you to listen very carefully. Can you do that? Harper nodded. If you hear the garage door open, you're going to go out your bedroom window. Not the front door, not the back door, your window. You're going to take this backpack and you're going to run. Where Claire pulled out a piece of newspaper. Wrinkled, stained with coffee. A photo of a building circled in red ink, iron lantern. The letters were lit up in neon. This place, it's on 4th and Brennan Street. You know where the old railroad tracks are? Harper nodded. She'd seen them on the way to school. Past that, you'll see motorcycles outside, lots of them. You go inside and you find a man named Logan Maddox. He'll have a ring, iron ring on his right hand. You can't miss it. What if he's not there? He'll be there, Claire said it like fact, like faith. Your real daddy served with him. In the war, before you were born, Logan promised him he'd take care of us if anything ever happened. Harper's stomach twisted. Something going to happen. Claire's face did something Harper had seen before, the thing where Mama wanted to lie but couldn't quite make the words come out right. I don't know, baby, but if it does, you run to Logan. You give him this backpack. You tell him your mama said it's time to keep the promise. What's in the backpack? Things that will keep you safe. Claire pulled the straps tight. Too tight. Harper winced but didn't complain. Mama, I'm scared. Claire pulled her close. Held her so hard, Harper felt her ribs creak. I know, but you're braver than you think. You're braver than me. From somewhere deep in the house, a sound. Mechanical. Heavy. The garage door. Claire went rigid. Go. Now. Mama. Now. Harper ran down the hallway, into her room. She shoved the window open with both hands, screen clattering into the bushes below. The backpack caught on the frame. She twisted, wriggled through, dropped 6 feet into the mud. Behind her, she heard the front door slam. Heard Damien's voice, too calm, the kind of calm that made her skin crawl. Claire, where's Harper? She's asleep. Don't lie to me. Harper ran, across the Bichouarn, through the gap in the fence, into the alley. Behind her, Mama's voice rose. Damien, please. Then a crash, glass breaking, Mama screaming. Then the sound Harper would hear in her nightmares for the rest of her life. A gunshot, loud, final, like a door slamming shut on the whole world. Then silence. Harper's legs kept moving even though her brain had stopped. She ran until the houses disappeared, until the streetlights got dimmer, until she saw the railroad tracks and crossed them, tripping on the rails, scraping her knee, not feeling it. And then she saw it. Iron lantern, neon sign buzzing in the rain, motorcycles lined up outside like sleeping metal beasts, light spilling through the windows, music faint and rough. Harper stood across the street, shaking soaked, clutching the backpack like it was the only real thing left in the world. She looked down at her right hand, imagined a ring. Iron, heavy, she crossed the street and pushed the door open. The iron lantern didn't apologize for what it was. Smoke hung in the air like ghosts. The jukebox in the corner played Creedence Clearwater Revival, some song about rain that was older than Harper's mama. The bar itself was scarred wood, dark and worn, the kind of surface that had absorbed 1,000 spilled drinks and never complained. Neon beer signs glowed on the walls, pool table in the back, booths with cracked leather, and everywhere leather vests, patches, chains. Men who looked like they'd seen the worst the world could offer and had decided to stay standing anyway. Harper stood just inside the door, dripping rainwater onto the floor, and every eye in the place turned toward her. Conversation stopped. The jukebox kept playing. She scanned faces, looking for the ring, looking for the man Mama promised would be there. In the corner booth, 3 men sat playing cards. The biggest one's shoulders like a bulldozer beard down to his chest stopped mid-deal. The thin one with quick eyes set his beer down slowly. And the one in the middle, the one with his back to the wall, the one whose hands were scarred and whose face looked like it had been carved out of something harder than wood, he looked up. Harper saw the ring, iron, dull, heavy, on his right-hand middle finger. Their eyes met. Logan Maddox saw a small girl, soaking wet, terrified, backpack too big for her frame, and something in her eyes, something old and desperate that didn't belong in a child. Harper saw a man who looked like he kept promises. She didn't walk toward him. She dropped to her knees and crawled, fast, silent, under the nearest table, under his table. Her small hands grabbed the edge of his leather vest and tugged once. "Please," she whispered from the shadows under his boots, "don't tell him I'm here." Logan didn't move, didn't look down yet, didn't want to spook her. His voice came out quiet, controlled. "Don't move." The girl went still. Razor, the big one, leaned forward slightly. "Boss, Logan raised 2 fingers. "Wait." The front door swung open again. Cold air, rain, and 3 people stepped inside. The first was a man in an expensive coat. Wool, dark gray, the kind of coat that cost more than most people's car payments. Hair perfect despite the rain. Shoes polished. Smile practiced. He looked around the bar like he was deciding whether it was worth his time. Behind him, 2 others, younger, dressed too well for this place, one with a camera phone already out recording, the other scanning exits like he'd been trained. The man in the coat let the door close behind him and smiled at the room. Not friendly, friendly shaped. "Evening, gentlemen. Sorry to bother you." Nobody answered. The jukebox played. "I'm looking for a little girl, 8 years old, brown hair. She's upset. She ran off." He paused, let the words hang. "I'm her stepfather." Under the table, Harper's fingers dug into Logan's boot leather, nails sharp even through the material. Logan kept his hands visible on the table, didn't reach for anything, didn't make sudden moves. Just watched the man in the expensive coat. "This a family matter?" Logan asked. Calm, neutral. "It is." The man took a step forward. "My name is Damian Cross. My wife Harper's mother and I had an argument. Harper got scared and ran. I just want to bring her home safely." Logan studied him. The words were right. The tone was right. But something underneath was wrong, like a smile that didn't reach the eyes. "What kind of argument makes an 8-year-old run into the rain?" Damian's smile tightened a fraction. "A family matter, not your concern." "She made it my concern when she came through that door." Damian's eyes flicked around the bar, cataloging faces, patches, tattoos, assessing threat levels. "I understand you gentlemen value your independence, but this is about a child. My child." "Stepdaughter," Mouse corrected quietly from across the table. Damian's gaze shifted. "Yes, stepdaughter. But I've raised her for 2 years. I love her like my own." Logan shifted his boot slightly, felt something wet against the leather, looked down subtle quick and saw it. A small wrist, visible in the gap between table leg and floor. Purple bruises, ring-shaped, clear as handprints in wet cement. Logan's jaw tightened. He looked back up at Damien. "You work around here, Mr. Cross, County Development Office." Damien said it like it explained everything, like it was supposed to mean something. It did. Everyone in Ashford knew the County Development Office controlled permits, zoning, contracts, the kind of power that didn't wear a badge but carried just as much weight. Razor's shoulders tensed, Mouse's eyes went flat. Damien smiled wider. "So you see, I'm not just some stranger off the street. I'm part of this community. I pay my taxes, I contribute, and right now I'm a father trying to find his frightened daughter." Logan's voice stayed level. "If she's that frightened, maybe you should ask yourself why." Damien's smile froze. "Excuse me. You heard me." For a moment, the mask slipped. Something cold flickered behind Damien's eyes. Then it was gone, smoothed over with concern. "Look, I get it. You see a scared kid you want to help. That's admirable, but you don't know the situation. Harper's been through trauma. Her mother and I are trying to create stability, but she acts out. She runs. It's a pattern." From behind the bar, a woman's voice cut in. "Kids don't run into biker bars because they're acting out." Rosa Bennett stepped out from the back hallway. Early 40s, solid build, hair pulled back, tattoos visible on both forearms, carrying a first aid kit like she'd been expecting trouble. Damien turned his smile toward her. "And you are the person who's going to ask that little girl if she wants to come out." Damien's jaw flexed. "She's 8. She doesn't get to decide." Rosa ignored him. She crouched near the table, movements slow, deliberate, non-threatening. "Honey, my name's Rosa. I work here. I'm a nurse. Can you hear me?" A whisper from under the table, so quiet it was almost lost in the jukebox. "Yes." "Good. You don't have to come out if you don't want to. But can I see your hands? Just your hands. I want to make sure you're not hurt." Silence. Then slowly 2 small hands emerged into the light, both wrists ringed with bruises. Purple, yellow at the edges, days old, shaped exactly like adult fingers had wrapped around them and squeezed. Rosa's face went hard. She looked up at Logan. Their eyes met. Silent understanding passed between them. Logan looked at Damien. "Those don't look like acting out to me." Damien's voice stayed smooth. "She bruises easily. She's clumsy. Ask any parent, kids are always covered in bumps and bruises." "Not like that," Rosa said. "Those are restraint marks." Damien's phone rang. He glanced at it, answered. "Yes, Iron Lantern. Yes, she's here." His eyes stayed on Logan. "These men are refusing to cooperate." He hung up, looked at Logan with something new in his expression. Not anger, satisfaction. "Sheriff's Department is on the way. I suggest you make this easy." Mouse leaned back in his chair. "Or what?" Damien didn't answer. He didn't need to. 2 minutes later, sirens cut through the rain. The first deputy through the door was young. Late 20s, clean cut, earnest face. Deputy Brennan looked around the bar like he was trying to figure out what kind of situation he'd just walked into. Behind him came Deputy Sutter. Older, thicker, eyes already made up about who the bad guys were before he'd seen any evidence. "Evening," Brennan said. "We got a call about a missing child." Damien stepped forward immediately. "Deputies, thank God. My stepdaughter Harper ran away. She's 8 years old. These men have locked the doors. They're refusing to let me take her home." Brennan's eyes went to the door. Doors actually locked. From behind the bar, Vince, 60-something, seen everything, wasn't impressed by badges, nodded. "Yes, sir, because Mr. Cross here came in reaching under tables for a terrified child without identifying himself." Sutter's voice came out flat. "Where's the girl?" Logan kept his hands on the table. Visible, calm. "She came in asking for help. She has visible injuries. We'd like her checked by a neutral medical professional before anyone makes decisions." Damien's voice rose slightly, hurt, confused. "Injuries. She doesn't need medical attention. She needs to come home." Brennan stepped closer to the table, noticed the backpack strap visible beneath it. "Sir, if there are injuries, we're required to—" Sutter cut him off. "Brennan, don't start." Brennan blinked. Sarge, protocol says. I know what protocol says. Sutter's eyes stayed on Logan. Where is she? Under this table, Logan said, and she stays there until someone independent verifies she's safe. Damien pulled a folder from inside his coat. Deputies, I have documentation, emergency custody order. Signed this afternoon after Harper ran off. Brennan took the folder, scanned it, his face creased. Sir, this is a clerk authorization. It says assessment pending. It doesn't authorize removal. Sutter glared at him. Brennan's on. It says family services is supposed to evaluate. Brennan looked at Damien. Did family services do an evaluation? Damien's smile tightened. It's 10 o'clock at night, deputy. Family services isn't available. That's why I came myself. That's not how this works, Brennan said quietly. Sutter stepped between them. Enough, he looked at Logan. You're interfering with a custody matter. That's a crime. Logan didn't blink. Refusing to hand over a bruised child to the person who bruised her isn't a crime. It's common sense. You don't know he bruised her, Sutter said. Rosa stood. I know finger-shaped bruises when I see them, and I know you're supposed to care about that. Before Sutter could respond, every phone in the bar buzzed at once. Simultaneous, loud, jarring. Logan looked at his screen. Amber alert. Harper Connolly, 8 years old, brown hair, last seen entering Iron Lantern Bar on 4th Street. Suspected abduction. Possible involvement outlaw motorcycle gang. The room went cold. Mouse stared at his phone. That was fast. Damien's smile was back. Wider now. Technology. Logan's voice stayed quiet. Amber alerts don't go out in 15 minutes. Not without supervisor approval. Razor leaned forward. Who approved it? Damien didn't answer. He didn't have to. The door opened again. Lieutenant Harding walked in with 4 more deputies. Older, gray at the temples, moved like someone used to being obeyed. His eyes went to Damien first. Recognition. Respect. Mr. Cross. Lieutenant, Damien's voice carried relief. Gratitude. Thank you for coming. Harding turned to Logan. You're going to produce the child, now. Logan kept his hands flat on the table. After she's assessed by someone who doesn't work for the county. Harding's face hardened. That's not your call. It's hers. Logan nodded toward the space under the table. She's the one who ran. She's the one who asked for help. She gets a say. She's 8 years old. She doesn't get a say. Rosa stepped forward, blocking the hallway to the back room. She has defensive wounds, bruises consistent with being grabbed and restrained. If you drag her out of here without documenting that you're liable. Harding's voice went cold. Ma'am, step aside. Or what? Rosa didn't move. From under the table, a voice, small, terrified, but loud enough. I don't want to go with him. The words cut through everything. Brennan reacted immediately, hand coming up. Lieutenant, she just verbally refused. Brennan, shut your mouth. Sir, she's a minor expressing fear of... I said shut it. Damien crouched slightly, trying to peer under the table. His voice went soft. Sweet. Harper, baby, come out. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing me. Under the table, Harper's breathing sped up. Panic. Logan made a decision. He stood slowly. As he did, every biker in the Iron Lantern stood up at once. Not fast. Not aggressive, just rising in unison. Razor, Mouse, Vince. 3 others at the bar, 2 in the corner booth. All standing, all facing the deputies. No weapons drawn, no threats spoken, just bodies, leather, presence. The message was clear. Not tonight. Lieutenant Harding stared at the wall of men. His hand moved toward his radio, and then the lights went out. Complete blackout. The jukebox died. Neon signs went dark. Emergency lights should have kicked in. They didn't. Harper screamed. In the darkness, chaos erupted. Chairs scraping, shouts, flashlights clicking on, phone lights stabbing through the black. Logan dropped to a crouch, reaching under the table. Harper grabbed my hand. Her small hand found his, gripped tight. Stay with me. A crash from the back hallway. Someone moving fast. Boots on wood. Rosa's voice cut through. Back door. Someone's trying the back door. Logan pulled Harper out from under the table as lights flickered back on. Emergency generator. Dim. Intermittent. In the chaos, Logan saw Sutter moving. Not toward Harper, toward her backpack. The bag had fallen, zipper torn, and sliding out across the floor a small black USB drive. Sutter lunged for it. Razor's boot came down first. Pinned it. Not yours, Razor said quietly. Sutter's hand went to his taser. Move your foot. No, Brennan stepped between them, horrified. Sarge, what are you doing? Sutter ignored him. His eyes were locked on the USB drive like it was the only thing in the world that mattered. Damien's voice cut through, loud, too desperate. That's mine. That's stolen property from my home. Everyone stopped, because Damien's mask had finally completely slipped. His face was white, eyes wide, not angry, terrified. Logan saw it, Rosa saw it, Brennan saw it. This was never about Harper. This was about what Harper was carrying. Logan bent down, scooped up the USB drive before anyone could react and straighten. Damien took one step forward. Give that to me. Logan held it up. This is what you really want. Damien's jaw worked. It's stolen. Then report it. Logan's eyes stayed locked on his. Call a judge. Get a warrant. Do it legal. Damien's phone was already out. Texting, fast. The front door crashed open. Trooper Wade walked in with 4 state police officers. Female, mid-40s, short hair, eyes that took in the scene in 2 seconds and understood exactly what kind of mess she'd just walked into. State police, everybody freeze. Lieutenant Harding turned. Trooper, this is a county matter. Not anymore. Wade's voice was steel. I just got a call from a federal agent saying a witness in his investigation is in danger. So this is now a state matter, which means county just became backup. Harding's face went red. You can't. I just did. Wade looked at Logan, then at Harper still gripping his hand, then at the USB drive. Sir, I'm going to need you to hand that over. Logan met her eyes. With respect, ma'am, your county colleagues just tried to steal it. I'm not confident in local chain of custody. Wade's expression didn't change, but something flickered. Respect, maybe. Fair enough. Bag it yourself. Use this. She tossed him an evidence bag. Initial it. I'll initial it. He'll film it. She pointed at Mouse. And then it goes into state custody. Acceptable. Logan nodded. He sealed the drive, signed it. Wade signed it. Mouse filmed the whole thing. Damien watched. His hands were shaking. Wade turned to him. Mr. Cross, you are going to step outside with my officers. Am I under arrest? Not yet, but you're being separated from the child pending investigation. Damien's smile tried to come back. Couldn't quite make it. You're making a mistake. Wade's eyes stayed flat. We'll see. As state troopers escorted Damien out, he looked back once, not at Harper, at Logan, and he said quietly enough that only Logan heard, You have no idea what you just did. Logan said nothing. When Damien was gone, Harper finally let herself cry. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears running down her face while she stood there, shaking. Rosa knelt beside her. You're okay. You're safe now. Harper looked up at Logan. He's going to come back. Logan knelt too. Maybe, but he's not getting through us. Harper reached into her pocket with shaking fingers and pulled out a piece of paper. Folded. Damp. She held it out to Logan. Mama said to give you everything. Said you'd know what to do. Logan took the note, unfolded it. The handwriting was hurried, shaky, but clear. Harper, if you are reading this without me, I'm gone. Damien killed me. Don't trust county police, he owns them. Run to Iron Lantern. Find Logan Maddox iron ring on right hand. Your real daddy served with him in Afghanistan. Logan promised him he'd take care of us. Give him everything. The USB has recordings. Storage Unit 847 at Maple Grove has copies and more evidence. Code is 0614, your birthday. Contact Agent Dawson, FBI. He knows everything. He's been helping me build the case. Damien killed his first wife too. Her name was Rebecca. He'll kill again if you don't stop him. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. Be brave, Mama. Logan read it twice. His hands didn't shake, but something in his chest went cold and hard. He looked up at Trooper Wade. We need to talk. Now. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and fear. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, too bright, making everything look washed out and unreal. Harper sat on the examination table in a pale blue gown, legs dangling while a doctor with kind eyes and steady hands checked her over. Trooper Wade stood by the door, arms crossed, watching. Rosa sat beside Harper, hand resting lightly on the girl's shoulder. Logan waited in the hallway with razor and mouse. Through the small window in the door, he could see Harper's face, pale, exhausted, but not crying anymore, like she'd run out of tears somewhere between the bar and the hospital. The doctor finished, peeled off her gloves, made notes on a tablet. Then she stepped into the hallway and closed the door behind her. Well, Wade asked. Dr. Sarah Martinez, mid-50s, seen too much still, cared anyway, pulled up the tablet and showed them photos. Clinical, documented, devastating. Bruising on both wrists, pattern consistent with forceful restraint. Approximately 3 to 5 days old based on coloration. She swiped. Another photo. Defensive bruising on her forearms. Suggests she was trying to block or protect herself. Swipe. Healed fracture on her left ulna. 6 weeks old. Never properly treated. She said she fell down the stairs, but the break pattern doesn't support that story. Swipe. Contusions on her rib cage. Recent. Within the last 48 hours. She said she paused to glance at her notes. She said he pushed me into the counter because I left crumbs on the table. Wade's jaw tightened. Anything else? Faint scarring near her hairline. Old. Likely from impact with a hard object. Possibly a ring. Dr. Martinez looked at Logan. You said the stepfather wears rings. Wedding band, thick, gold. Dr. Martinez nodded. That would match. She closed the tablet. This child has been systematically abused for months, maybe longer. And based on the note you showed me about the mother, she stopped, collected herself. That little girl is going to need trauma counseling. Long term. But she's alive. That's something. Logan's voice came out rough. Can she travel? Physically, yes. Emotionally. Dr. Martinez shook her head. She needs stability. She needs to feel safe. Moving her around too much will re-traumatize her. Wade pulled out her phone. I'm calling FBI. If Agent Dawson is who that note says he is, he needs to be here, now. She walked down the hallway, radio to her lips. Logan stepped into the examination room. Harper looked up. Rosa gave him a nod and stepped back to give them space. Logan knelt so he was eye level with Harper. How you doing? Harper shrugged. Small, defensive. Okay. You don't have to be okay. She looked at him for a long moment. Then the doctor said Mama said they found her. At the house. Logan's throat tightened. Yeah. Did she? Was it fast? Logan wanted to lie, wanted to tell her it was painless, wanted to give her something soft to hold on to. But this kid had been lied to enough. I don't know, he said, but I know she was thinking of you. Everything she did was to protect you. Harper's hands twisted in her lap. She told me about my real daddy, a long time ago. She said he was brave, that he saved people. He did. Did you know him? Logan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small photograph. Worn at the edges, creased, a younger Logan and a man in desert fatigues, arms around each other's shoulders, grinning despite the dust and exhaustion. That's David, your dad. Harper stared at the photo like it was the most valuable thing in the world. He looks nice. He was. Funniest guy in our unit. Always had a joke. Always had your back. Logan's voice softened. He talked about you all the time. Even though you were just a baby, he'd show everyone pictures on his phone. Drove us crazy. Harper's lips twitched, almost a smile. Really, Really, he loved you before he even met you. Mama said he died saving someone. Logan nodded. He saved me. And 5 other guys, IED, took out our convoy. He pulled us out one by one. Went back for the last guy even though the vehicle was burning. Didn't make it out himself. Harper touched the photograph. Do I look like him? You got his eyes. And his stubbornness. She handed the photo back, but Logan shook his head. Keep it, it's yours. Harper's fingers closed around it carefully. Logan, yeah? Mama said you promised my daddy you'd take care of us. Is that true? Logan pulled off the iron ring, showed it to her. Your dad made this after the IED. There was shrapnel everywhere. Pieces of metal that should have killed me. He took one of those pieces and had it forged into this ring. Gave it to me in the hospital. Said you wear that you remember your promises. What did you promise? To look after the people he loved. To make sure you and your mama were okay. Logan's voice cracked. I should have checked on you sooner. I should have. You're here now, Harper said quietly. Logan looked at her, this small kid who'd seen too much, lost too much, and was still trying to be brave. Yeah, I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere until you're safe. Harper nodded, then she did something unexpected. She reached out and hugged him. Quick, fierce, then pulled back like she wasn't sure it was allowed. Logan's eyes burned. He stood up and cleared his throat. You get some rest. Rose is staying with you. Where are you going? To make sure Damian Cross never hurts anyone again. Promise. Logan showed her the ring on his right hand. I promise. She let him go. Midnight. Maple Grove Storage Facility. The place was industrial. Rows of metal units, chain link fences, security cameras that may or may not have been working. A single floodlight cast harsh shadows across the wet pavement. Wade's cruiser pulled up. Logan Razor and Mouse in a truck behind her. Two more state troopers in a third vehicle. Wade had made the call. No county, no locals. State and federal only. They stood outside Unit 847. Orange door, padlock, no windows. Code is 0614, Logan said. Harper's birthday. Wade punched it in. The lock clicked. She drew her weapon, not pointing it, just ready, and rolled the door up. Inside darkness. Then Wade's flashlight cut through it. A small space, maybe 10 by 10. But every inch was used. Plastic bins stacked against one wall, a folder wrapped in a waterproof bag, a camping lantern sitting on a crate, and covering the back wall a timeline. Photos, documents, newspaper clippings, all connected with red string like something from a crime drama. Except this was real. This was Claire Connolly's last desperate attempt to save her daughter. Wade stepped aside slowly, photographing everything with her phone, documenting. Logan followed. He stopped in front of the timeline and just stared. 2016. Rebecca Cross found dead in home ruled accidental. Newspaper clipping. Photo of a blonde woman, smiling, young. Below it, police report, heavily redacted, but notes in Claire's handwriting in the margins. Restraining order filed 2 weeks before death. Disappeared from county records. Judge Morrison. 2017. Rebecca's sister Karen Hayes dies in car accident. Another clipping. Another convenient death. Karen was pushing for investigation. Died 6 months after Rebecca. Brake failure. No mechanical inspection done. 2018. Claire marries Damian Cross. Photo from their wedding. Claire looks happy. Damian looks perfect. I thought he was kind. I thought he'd take care of us. I was wrong. 2019. First incident, hospital report. Claire treated for fall downstairs. Doctor noted injuries inconsistent with stated cause, but Claire refused to elaborate. He said if I told anyone he'd take Harper. Said I'd never see her again. 2019 June. Claire contacts FBI, just a note. Handwritten. Met Agent Dawson at coffee shop. Gave him everything I had so far. He said I was right. Said Damian is being investigated for money laundering through County Development Office. Said to keep recording. 2019 September through December. Evidence collection. Photos of documents. Bank statements showing wire transfers to offshore accounts. Photos of Damian meeting with Judge Morrison, Sheriff Carver, county officials in parking lots and restaurants. He's buying them. All of them. 2020 January. Damian discovers recording device. Hospital report. Claire treated for slip in kitchen. Broken rib. Black eye. He found the recorder in the cabinet. Beat me. Told Harper if she ever told anyone he'd make her disappear like all the other bad kids. She hasn't spoken for 3 days. 2020 March. Backup plan, just notes. I won't make it to trial. I know that now. He's going to kill me. So I'm leaving everything here. Storage unit. USB drive with Harper. Note with Logan's name. If I'm dead, he'll protect her. David promised me Logan keeps his promises. 2020 May 14th, 3 days ago. Final entry. One sentence. Shaky handwriting. Tonight. He knows I talked to FBI. He said, I have until Friday to fix this or Harper and I will have an accident. I'm out of time. Logan's hands clenched. He turned to the plastic bins. Wade opened them carefully. Inside folders, documents, flash drives, a phone. Jesus Christ, Wade whispered. This is years of evidence. Mouse picked up one folder. Bank records. He's laundered over $2 million through shell companies. Look at these names: Morrison Carver, half the county council. Razor held up another. Property transfers. Damien's been buying land at tax sales, flipping it, bribing the zoning board to change classifications, making millions. Wade found the phone. Powered it on. Password screen. Try 0614, Logan said. It worked. The phone opened to a voice memo app. Dozens of recordings. Wade hit play on the most recent. Claire's voice shaking. May 14th, 11 p.m. This is my testimony if I don't survive. My name is Claire Connolly. I am married to Damien Cross. He has threatened to kill me and my daughter Harper. He has done this before. His first wife Rebecca died under suspicious circumstances in 2016. I have evidence that he murdered her for insurance money. I have evidence of corruption involving Judge Thomas Morrison and Sheriff William Carver. They have helped him cover up crimes, falsify reports, and eliminate witnesses. I am leaving this storage unit as a backup. Everything Damien has done is documented here. Agent James Dawson with the FBI has the primary case file numbers. If something happens to me, I'm leaving Harper in the care of Logan Maddox, David Connolly's friend, the man with the iron ring. Harper, baby, if you're hearing this, I'm so sorry. I tried so hard to get us out, but he's too powerful, too connected. So I'm leaving you with someone strong enough to fight him. Logan promised your daddy he'd watch over us. I'm trusting him with your life now. Be brave, baby. Be. The recording cut off abruptly. Sound of a door opening, Damien's voice in the background. Claire, who the hell are you talking to, scuffle? Crash. Claire's scream, then the unmistakable sound of a gunshot. Silence. Then Damien's voice. Cold. Controlled. Call it in. Wife had an accident. Fell down the stairs. Hit her head. Dead at scene. And find that goddamn recorder. End of recording. The storage unit went silent. Wade's face was white. That's a confession. That's a murder on tape. Logan's voice was barely above a whisper. He killed her right there and then called it an accident. And the county bought it, Wade said bitterly, because they're all on his payroll. Mouse looked up from the documents. We need FBI here. Now. This is way beyond state jurisdiction. Wade was already on her radio. Dispatch, I need an immediate connection to FBI field office. Agent James Dawson, priority 1. Tell him it's about Claire Connolly. Static, then connecting now. A moment later, a man's voice. Tired, rough. This is Dawson. Agent Dawson, this is Trooper Wade with Oregon State Police. I'm at a storage unit with evidence related to Claire Connolly. She's dead, I know. County reported it as accidental fall 2 days ago. Pause. I tried to get there in time. I was too late. We have her daughter, Harper. She's alive. Silence on the other end. Then Jesus Christ. We're safe in protective custody, but that's not all. We have recordings, confession, Damien Cross murdered Claire, on tape. I'm 20 minutes out. Don't touch anything else. Don't let anyone from county near that evidence. I'll be there with a forensics team. Understood. The line went dead. Logan turned to the timeline again, stared at Rebecca's photo, at Claire's wedding photo, at the note about Karen Hayes dying in a car accident. He's done this before, Logan said quietly. And he'll do it again unless we stop him. Razor's voice was cold. Then we stop him. 1:30 a.m. County Courthouse. Damien Cross sat in an interrogation room, alone, hands folded on the table. No handcuffs, no lawyer yet, just waiting. The door opened. Judge Morrison walked in, not in robes, casual clothes, terrified. What the hell did you do? Morrison hissed. Damien didn't look up. What I had to. The FBI is involved now. State police, they have evidence. They have nothing I can't explain. They have your wife's body, Damien. They're going to do an autopsy, a real one. Damien finally looked up. His eyes were empty. Then we make sure it doesn't matter. We move the custody hearing up. Emergency session. Tomorrow morning. I get Harper back before they finish digging. Morrison's face went white. You want me to rule on custody while you're under investigation for murder? I want you to do your job, the job I pay you to do. I can't. This is too much. They'll destroy me. Damien stood up slowly, walked around the table, got close enough that Morrison could smell his cologne. Thomas, Damien said softly, do you remember what I have on you, the photos from Atlantic City? The money in your offshore account? The fact that you dismissed 3 domestic violence cases that ended with dead women? Morrison's throat worked. I didn't know they'd... You knew, you just didn't care. And now you're going to rule in my favor tomorrow, or I'm going to make sure every journalist in the state gets those photos. They'll investigate you too. I have resources. I have money. I have connections that go way beyond this county. Damien's smile was reptilian. You're just a small-town judge who's got greedy. Who do you think survives that story? Morrison said nothing. That's what I thought. Damien stepped back. Hearing is at 9 a.m. emergency custody ruling. Harper Connolly is returned to my care pending full investigation. Standard language. You can do it in your sleep. And if I don't, then I make sure you never sleep again. Morrison left. The door closed. Damien sat back down, pulled out his phone, texted 2 numbers. To Garrett, safe house location to Silas. Courthouse tomorrow. Final solution, no witnesses. He set the phone down and smiled to himself. They thought they'd won. They thought evidence mattered. They had no idea how deep his roots went. 2 a.m. State Police safe house. It was a ranch house in the suburbs. 2 stories. Quiet street, lights on inside. 2 state troopers on the porch. 1 cruiser in the driveway. Inside, Harper sat on a couch wrapped in a blanket. Rosa beside her. And sitting across from them, Lenora Hayes, 42. Dark hair streaked with gray, Claire's younger sister. She'd driven 7 hours straight from Seattle after getting Wade's call. Her eyes were red, face puffy from crying. But when she looked at Harper, something steadied. Hi, sweetheart. Harper stared at her. Aunt Lenora. Yeah, baby, it's me. Harper hadn't seen her aunt in 2 years. Damien had cut off contact with Claire's family. Said they were bad influences. Lenora opened her arms. Harper hesitated, then launched herself across the room and crashed into her aunt, sobbing. I'm sorry. Harper gasped between breath. I'm sorry I didn't call. I couldn't. He wouldn't let me. Shh, shh, not your fault. None of this is your fault. Rosa stepped back to give them space. Walked over to where Logan stood by the window, watching the street. She needs family, Rosa said quietly. She's got it now. What about you? Logan glanced at her. What about me? You've been running on adrenaline and guilt for 12 hours. When's it going to hit you? After, Logan said. After she's safe. Rosa studied his face. David must have been a hell of a friend. He was my brother, not by blood, but by choice. Logan's jaw tightened. I should have checked on them. I should have. You didn't know. I should have known. They stood in silence. Then Rosa's phone buzzed. She checked it, face going tight. Wade, Dawson's at the storage unit, wants us there. Logan nodded. He looked back at Harper and Lenora on the couch. The girl was still crying, but it was different now. Relief, release, not terror. He walked over, knelt down. Harper, she looked up, face wet, eyes swollen. I have to go take care of some things, but Rosa's staying, and your aunt's here, and there are troopers outside. You're safe. Harper's hand shot out, grabbed his. You're coming back, right? I'm coming back. Promise? Logan showed her the ring on his right hand. I promise. She let him go. As Logan headed for the door, Lenora caught his arm. Thank you, she said, voice breaking. Claire told me about you years ago. She said if anything ever happened, you were the one person she'd trust with Harper's life. She shouldn't have had to make that choice. But she did, and you kept your word. Logan said nothing. He just nodded and walked out into the night. Behind him through the window, he saw Harper curl up against her aunt. Safe. For now. But Logan knew safe was temporary. Damien Cross was still out there. Still connected. Still dangerous. And tomorrow he'd make his move. 3 a.m. FBI Field Office Temporary Command Center. Agent James Dawson looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. Mid-50s, gray stubble, coffee-stained shirt, but his eyes were sharp when Logan walked in. "You're Maddox." "I am. David Connolly's friend." Logan stopped. "You knew David." "I knew of him. Claire talked about him constantly, said he was the best man she'd ever known. Said if she ever needed help, she'd find you." Dawson rubbed his face. She was right. He gestured to a table covered in evidence bags, documents, photos, the timeline from the storage unit recreated on a whiteboard. "This is 2 years of work," Dawson said. "Claire was one of the bravest informants I've ever worked with. She knew what she was risking, knew he'd kill her if he found out. But she kept going because she wanted Harper safe." Logan stared at Claire's photo on the whiteboard. Young, smiling, alive. "Why didn't you protect her?" Dawson's face hardened. "I tried. I had her scheduled for extraction next week. We were going to move her and Harper into witness protection. But Damien moved faster." He picked up a report. County medical examiner ruled it accidental death within 2 hours. 2 hours. Didn't even do a full autopsy. Signed off based on obvious head trauma consistent with fall. Because Damien owns him. Because Damien owns half the county. Dawson pulled up a chart on his laptop. Network diagram. Names connected by lines. Judge Morrison. Sheriff Carver. County medical examiner. 3 city council members. 2 state representatives. "This isn't just corruption," Dawson said. "This is a criminal enterprise running through official channels. Damien's been building this network for 8 years, ever since Rebecca died, and he realized how easy it was to make people disappear if you control the paperwork." Wade stood nearby, arms crossed. "So what's our play?" Dawson clicked to another screen. "Legal documents. Emergency custody hearing scheduled for 9 a.m. Morrison's presiding. He's going to rule in Damien's favor and return Harper to him." "Like hell," Logan said. "We can't stop the hearing. We don't have jurisdiction yet. But we can make sure Harper doesn't go in alone." Dawson looked at Logan. "I need you there. As a witness. You were the first person she came to. You documented her injuries. You secured evidence. Morrison can't dismiss you." "What about the recording Claire's confession?" "We'll present it, but Morrison will try to suppress it. Chain of custody issues, admissibility questions. He'll throw every technical objection he can." "So we lose." "Not if Harper testifies." The room went quiet. Wade's voice was careful. "She's 10 years old. You want to put her on a stand across from the man who killed her mother." "I want to give her the chance to speak," Dawson said. "Because that's what Claire wanted. That's what she died for Harper to have a voice." Logan thought about the small girl who'd crawled under his table 12 hours ago, who'd run through the rain, who'd watched her mother die and still found the courage to ask for help. "It has to be her choice," Logan said. "We ask her. If she says no, we find another way." Dawson nodded. "Agreed." A trooper knocked on the door. "Sir, we have movement at the safe house." Everyone tensed. "What kind of movement?" "2 vehicles, circling the block, no plates visible. They passed 3 times, then left." Wade was already moving. "That's reconnaissance. They're planning a hit." Logan's blood went cold. "We need to move Harper now." "Where?" Wade asked. "Everywhere in this county is compromised." Dawson grabbed his keys. "Federal safe house, 2 hours north. We leave in 5 minutes." They ran. 4 a.m. State Police safe house. Harper was asleep on the couch. Lenora dozed in the chair beside her. Rosa sat by the window keeping watch. Outside, the 2 troopers were alert but tired. End of shift coming, ready to be relieved. One of them checked his phone. Yawned. Didn't see the van that parked 3 houses down with its lights off. Didn't see Garrett and Silas step out. Didn't see the tranquilizer darts until they were already in his neck. He dropped. Silent. His partner turned, reaching for his radio. Second dart, down. Garrett moved to the front door, tried the handle, locked. He pulled out a lockpick kit, worked quickly, quietly. Inside, Rosa's instincts screamed. She stood up, looked out the window, saw empty porch. "No," she whispered. The front door handle turned. Rosa moved fast, grabbed Harper. "Wake up now!" Harper's eyes shot open. What closet? Go, don't make a sound. Lenora was already up, grabbing a baseball bat from beside the door. What's happening? They're here. The front door opened. Garrett stepped inside. Saw three women. Smiled. Nobody has to get hurt. We just need the girl. Rosa pushed Harper toward the hallway. Garrett lunged. Lenora swung the bat connected with his shoulder. He barely flinched, grabbed the bat, ripped it from her hands, shoved her into the wall. Silas came through the back door, flanking. Rosa got Harper into the hallway, shoved her into a closet. Lock it. Call 911. Then she turned to face Silas. He pulled a taser. Don't. Rosa grabbed a heavy flashlight from the hall table, swung hard, caught him in the wall. He staggered. In the closet, Harper fumbled with her phone. Hands shaking, dialed. 911, what's your emergency? My name is Harper Connolly, she whispered. Men with guns. Safe house on Oakwood Drive, please. The closet door ripped open. Garrett stared down at her. Time to go, kid. Harper screamed. Tires screeched outside, doors slamming, boots pounding up the walkway. Logan hit the front door at a dead run with Razor and Mouse behind him. They'd been 2 minutes away when the 911 call came through. 2 minutes. Logan saw the troopers down on the porch. Not dead, tranquilized. Saw the open front door. Heard Harper screaming. He didn't hesitate. Charged inside. Garrett had Harper by the arm, dragging her toward the back door. Rosa on the floor, taser burns on her neck. Lenora against the wall, dazed. Logan didn't say a word, just drove his shoulder into Garrett's chest. They crashed through the hallway into the kitchen. Garrett lost his grip on Harper. Run, Logan shouted. Harper ran straight to the front door where Wade was rushing in with state troopers. Razor grabbed Silas in the back hallway. No mercy, just efficiency. Sirens everywhere now. Lights, chaos. By the time Logan stepped back, Garrett was cuffed and bleeding. Silas was down, and Harper was in Lenora's arms outside, shaking but alive. Wade pulled Logan aside. You okay? Logan's knuckles were split. I'm fine. They were going to take her. I know. Wade looked at the two men in cuffs. They'll talk, and when they do, we'll have Damien. Logan shook his head. They won't talk. They're too scared of him. Then we make them more scared of us. 6 a.m. FBI interrogation room. Garrett sat across from Agent Dawson, lawyer beside him, smug, silent. Dawson laid out photos. Rosa's taser burns, the unconscious troopers, Harper's terrified face. Attempted kidnapping, assault on federal witnesses, assault on law enforcement. You're looking at 20 years minimum. Garrett's lawyer, my client has nothing to say. He doesn't have to. We have the 911 call. We have the officer's testimony. We have DNA evidence. Dawson leaned forward. But what I really want to know is who hired you. Silence. Was it Damien Cross? Garrett's eye twitched, just slightly. Because if it was, and you tell me, we can talk about a deal. Witness protection. Reduced sentence. You walk away from this. The lawyer shook his head at Garrett. Don't, Garrett swallowed. I want the deal in writing first. Dawson smiled. 7:30 a.m. outside county courthouse. Media everywhere. Cameras, reporters. The story had broken. FBI investigates local developer in murder case. Damien arrived in a suit, flanked by expensive lawyers, smiled for the cameras like he was running for office. I have complete faith in the justice system, he said smoothly. These allegations are baseless. My only concern is for Harper's well-being. I just want my daughter back. Inside, Logan waited with Harper and Lenora. The courthouse felt cold, institutional, wrong. Harper wore a simple blue dress, hair pulled back. She looked impossibly small. I don't want to do this, she whispered. Logan knelt beside her. You don't have to. We can find another way. Harper looked at him. Will he go to jail if I don't? Eventually, the evidence. Will he go to jail tomorrow? Logan hesitated. Probably not. Harper's jaw set. Then I have to, because if he gets out tomorrow, he'll hurt someone else. She sounded like her mother. Logan wanted to tell her no, wanted to protect her from this. But he'd promised David he'd respect Claire's choices, and Claire had raised a brave kid. Okay, Logan said, but I'll be right there. The whole time. Harper nodded, touched the small iron pendant around her neck. Let's go. They walked into the courtroom. Judge Morrison sat at the bench, looking older, paler, trapped. Damien sat at the defendant's table, saw Harper, smiled. And Harper, small, terrified Harper, who'd hidden under a table 12 hours ago, looked him straight in the eye and didn't look away. The courtroom felt like a cage. Harper sat in the front row between Logan and Lenora. Her hands were folded in her lap, fingers twisted together so tight the knuckles were white. She stared at the wood paneling on the walls, at the state seal behind the judge's bench, at anything except the man sitting 20 feet away. But she could feel Damien watching her, could feel his smile like a hand on the back of her neck. Judge Morrison entered. Everyone stood. The bailiff called the court to order. In the matter of emergency custody, Harper Connolly, minor child. Morrison's voice was flat, mechanical, like he was reading someone else's words. This is an expedited hearing to determine immediate placement, pending full investigation. Damien's attorney stood. Gerald Voss, 60, silver hair, expensive suit. The kind of lawyer who won by making juries forget what they came to decide. Your Honor, this is a straightforward matter. Mr. Cross is the legal stepfather and guardian of Harper Connolly. The child's mother tragically passed in an accident 2 days ago. The child, understandably traumatized, ran away and was taken in by individuals with, he glanced at Logan, questionable backgrounds. We're simply asking the court to return Harper to her home where she belongs. Morrison nodded. And the state's position, Trooper Wade stood. Your Honor, the state opposes return. The child has documented injuries consistent with abuse. She has verbally refused to return to Mr. Cross's custody, and there is an active FBI investigation into. Morrison cut her off. The FBI investigation is separate. This is a custody matter, not a criminal hearing. They're connected, Your Honor. The child is a material witness. Noted, but that doesn't change the immediate question of custody. Morrison looked at his papers. Mr. Cross, you have documentation of legal guardianship. Voss handed up a folder. Marriage certificate, adoption paperwork, except it wasn't adoption, just step-parent designation. Legal but thin. And there are no living blood relatives. Lenora stood. Your Honor, I'm Claire Connolly's sister, Harper's aunt. I'm willing to take custody. Morrison barely glanced at her. Were you named in any custody arrangements? No, but then you have no legal standing at this time. Morrison looked back at Voss. The court recognizes Mr. Cross's guardianship. However, given the allegations, I'm ordering a 72-hour evaluation period. Harper will be placed in temporary foster care while social services. No. Harper's voice was small, but it cut through the room like a knife. Everyone stopped. Morrison looked down at her. Excuse me, Harper stood up. Logan put a hand on her shoulder, not restraining, just steady, but she stepped forward anyway. I said no, I'm not going to foster care, and I'm not going with him. Morrison's face tightened. Young lady, you don't... I want to testify. The courtroom went silent. Voss stood immediately. Your Honor, this is highly irregular. The child is 10 years old, clearly traumatized, and has been coached by... I haven't been coached, Harper said. Her voice shook but didn't break. I just want to tell the truth. Morrison hesitated. Logan saw it. The judge was looking for an out. Any reason to shut this down before it went somewhere he couldn't control. Agent Dawson stood from the back row. Your Honor, the minor has the right to be heard in custody matters affecting her welfare. Oregon Statute 109.119. Morrison's jaw clenched. This isn't a full custody trial, but it's a custody determination. And she has standing. Morrison looked at Damien. Damien's face was calm, but his hands were flat on the table. Too still. 5 minutes, Morrison said finally. The child may make a brief statement. Your Honor, Voss started. I said 5 minutes. Morrison gestured to the witness stand. Approach. Harper walked forward. Each step felt like walking through deep water. Logan wanted to go with her, but he couldn't. This was hers to do. She climbed into the witness chair. Her feet didn't touch the floor. The bailiff brought over a booster cushion. Harper sat on it, hands in her lap, and looked out at the courtroom. Her eyes found Damien's. He smiled. Small, private, like they shared a secret. Harper's hands clenched. She looked away, found Logan instead. He nodded once. You got this. Morrison's voice was impatient. State your name for the record. Harper Marie Connolly. And you understand you're under oath. That means you have to tell the truth. I understand. All right, you may speak. Harper took a breath. I don't want to go back to Damian Cross's house. He's not my father. He was my mom's husband, and he hurt us. Voss stood. Objection, hearsay, and conclusory. Overruled. She's making a statement, not offering evidence. Morrison looked at Harper. Continue. He started hitting my mom about a year after they got married. First it was just yelling, then pushing, then hitting when he thought I couldn't see. But I always saw. Harper's voice was getting steadier, like she'd been holding these words in so long they wanted out. Mom wore long sleeves all the time, even in summer. She said she was cold, but I knew it was because of the bruises. He made her say she was clumsy, made her lie to doctors. Your Honor, Voss tried again. Mr. Voss, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt. Voss sat, but his face was red. Harper continued, last year I broke my arm. I told the school nurse I fell down the stairs, but I didn't. Damian pushed me because I spilled juice on his papers. Mom took me to the hospital, but we had to say it was an accident. He said if we didn't, he'd make sure I never saw my mom again. Morrison's face was unreadable. And your mother, did she report any of this? She tried, she called the police twice, but they said it was a domestic matter and there wasn't enough evidence. So Mom started recording things. She hid a recorder in the kitchen. She took pictures of the bruises. She saved everything. Where is this evidence? In a storage unit and on a USB drive. Mom gave it to me the night she died. Morrison's eyes flicked to Dawson. The FBI has this evidence. Yes, Your Honor, Dawson said, along with additional materials Mrs. Connolly compiled over 18 months. Voss stood again. Your Honor, none of this evidence has been authenticated. Chain of custody is questionable. We haven't had a chance to examine. You'll have your chance, Morrison said, but his voice was weaker now. Harper's voice rose slightly. Can I say something else? Morrison nodded. The night my mom died, she told me to pack a bag. She said if I heard the garage door, I should run. She said Damian was going to hurt her. She said to find a man named Logan Maddox because he promised my real dad he'd take care of us. Logan's throat tightened. I heard the garage door. I heard Damian come in. I heard them fighting. And then I heard... Harper's voice cracked. I heard a bang, like a gun, and then nothing. The courtroom was dead silent. Damian called someone. I heard him. He said, call it in. Wife had an accident, fell downstairs dead at scene. But Mom didn't fall. I know she didn't, because I heard him. Morrison's face had gone pale. Miss Connolly, are you saying you witnessed? I heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard everything. Damian finally moved, leaned forward, whispered something to Voss. Voss shook his head. Damian whispered again harder. Voss stood. Your Honor, my client would like to address the court. Absolutely not. This is the child's statement. He has a right to respond to these accusations. Not here. Not now. Damian stood anyway. Your Honor, with respect, I'd like to speak. Morrison hesitated. Then Mr. Cross, sit down. Just 30 seconds. Mr. Cross, Damian turned to face Harper directly. Harper, sweetheart, I know you're scared. I know you miss your mother, but you're confused. You're traumatized. You're not remembering things correctly. Harper's hands clenched on the armrests. I remember. No, baby, you don't. Your mother fell. It was an accident, a terrible accident, and I've been trying to help you through it. But these people, he gestured at Logan at Dawson, they've filled your head with stories. They've made you think. You killed her. Harper's voice cut through, clear, strong. You killed my mom, and you were going to kill me too. Damian's smile didn't move, but something behind his eyes went dead. Harper, that's a very serious accusation. One that could get people in a lot of trouble. Good, you should be in trouble. I meant them, Damian pointed at Logan. These men who took you, who kept you from me, who told you what to say. Nobody told me what to say, Harper's voice rose, actually yelling now. I saw what you did, I heard what you did, and I'm not going to lie for you anymore. Morrison banged his gavel. Order Mr. Cross, sit down now. Damien didn't sit. He took a step toward the witness stand. Harper listened to me very carefully. Logan was out of his seat before he realized he was moving. Razor and Mouse behind him. 3 state troopers moving from the walls. Damien stopped, raised his hands, smiled back in place. I'm just talking to my daughter. She's not your daughter, Logan said quietly. Step back, Mr. Maddox, Morrison ordered. Logan didn't move. He kept his eyes on Damien. You don't get to intimidate her. Not here. Not anymore. Damien's mask slipped again, just for a second. You think you're protecting her? You're making it worse. You're confusing her. Harper's voice quiet but clear. Logan didn't confuse me. You did. When you made me lie. When you hurt my mom and told me it was love. When you said families keep secrets. That's what confused me. But I'm not confused anymore. Damien stared at her, really looked at her. And for the first time, Harper saw something besides control in his eyes. Fear. Because he was losing. Not just the hearing, the whole thing. His carefully built mask was cracking, and everyone could see what was underneath. Voss grabbed Damien's arm. Sit down. Damien finally sat. Morrison cleared his throat. Ms. Connolly, do you have anything else to add? Harper reached into his pocket, pulled out the small voice recorder, the one Claire had given her 3 nights ago. She held it up. I have one more thing. Voss went white. Your Honor, that hasn't been submitted into evidence. It's not evidence, Harper said. It's my mom, talking to me. I want everyone to hear it. Morrison hesitated. He knew what was coming, knew that once that recording played, there was no going back. But he also knew a courtroom full of people were watching. Media in the back, FBI agents, state police, and a 10-year-old girl looking at him like he was the only person left who could do the right thing. Play it, Morrison said quietly. Harper pressed play. Claire's voice filled the courtroom. Shaky but determined. May 14th, 11 p.m. This is my testimony if I don't survive. My name is Claire Connolly. I'm married to Damien Cross. He's threatened to kill me and my daughter Harper. He's done this before. His first wife, Rebecca, died under suspicious circumstances in 2016. I have evidence he murdered her for insurance money. Damien was frozen, staring at the recorder like it was a grenade. I'm leaving everything in storage unit 847 at Maple Grove. Everything Damien has done is documented there. Agent James Dawson with the FBI has the case files. If something happens to me, I'm leaving Harper with Logan Maddox, David Connolly's friend, the man with the iron ring. Logan's eyes burned. Harper, baby, if you're hearing this, I'm so sorry. I tried so hard to get us out, but he's too powerful. So I'm leaving you with someone who's strong enough to fight him. Be brave, baby, be. The recording cut to rustling, a door opening, Damien's voice in the background. Claire, who the hell are you talking to? Claire's voice, trying to stay calm. No one. I was just, don't lie to me. Where's the recorder? Scuffling, Claire crying out. Things crashing. Damien, please, you've been recording me. You've been working with the FB. I had to, you were going to kill us. I was keeping you safe. A slap, Claire's scream. More crashing. Then silence for 3 seconds. Then the unmistakable sound of a gunshot. The courtroom was frozen. On the recording, silence. Then Damien's voice. Calm now. Controlled. Shit. Okay. Call Carver. Tell him my wife fell down the stairs. Head injury. Dead at the scene. And find that goddamn recorder before recording ended. Harper pressed stop. Her hands were shaking. That was 3 nights ago. That's when my mom died. And the next morning the county said it was an accident because Damien told them to. She looked at Morrison. You were going to send me back to him. Back to the man who killed my mom. Because he pays you. Because he owns you. Morrison's face was gray. Damien stood slowly. His lawyer tried to pull him back, but he shook him off. That recording is fake, Damien said, voice shaking now, control finally gone. It's edited. It's out of context. It's your voice, Harper said. It's your words. And you know it's real because you've been trying to get it back ever since I ran. Dawson stood. Your Honor, the FBI has authenticated this recording. We also have corroborating evidence from the storage unit, including additional recordings, Financial documents and testimony from two of Mr. Cross's associates who were arrested this morning attempting to kidnap the witness. Morrison stared at his bench, at his hands, at 30 years of small compromises that had led to this moment. Your Honor, Voss said carefully, regardless of any other matters, this is still just a custody hearing. The criminal allegations should be handled separately. No, Morrison said quietly. Everyone looked at him. No, Morrison repeated louder. No more separate, no more later, no more looking the other way. He looked at Damien, and for the first time, Damien saw the trap closing. Mr. Cross, you're remanded into custody pending formal charges. Bailiff? Two bailiffs moved toward Damien. You can't do this, Damien said. You don't have jurisdiction. This is a custody hearing, and I'm ruling that you are unfit for custody, permanently. Morrison looked at Lenora. Ms. Hayes' temporary custody is awarded to you pending full evaluation. The child is not to have any contact with Mr. Cross. Lenora stood, tears streaming. Thank you, Your Honor. Damien didn't fight when they cuffed him. He just stared at Harper. You did this, he said quietly. You destroyed everything. Harper stared back. You destroyed yourself. As they led him toward the door, Damien's composure finally shattered completely. You think this is over, he shouted back at the courtroom. You think I don't have insurance. I have files on everyone, Morrison. You're done, Carver. You're done. And you... He looked at Harper. You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder wondering when I'm coming back. Logan stood. You're not coming back. I have money. I have lawyers. You have nothing, Agent Dawson said calmly. Your accounts are frozen. Your properties are seized. And Judge Morrison just gave testimony against you to save himself. Morrison nodded weakly. Mr. Cross, I'm cooperating fully with federal investigators. Everything I know about your operations is now on record. Damien's face went from rage to disbelief to something that looked almost like grief. Rebecca, he whispered. Claire, it was supposed to be simple. They were supposed to just stay. He looked at Harper one last time. I did love your mother. In my way. I did. Harper's voice was steady. No, you loved controlling her. That's not the same thing. They took him out. The courtroom erupted, media scrambling, lawyers shouting. Morrison slumped in his chair looking 20 years older. And Harper sat in the witness stand, hands in her lap, and just breathed. Logan walked over, didn't say anything, just stood there. Harper looked up at him. Is it really over? Yeah, Logan said. It's really over. She nodded, then she started to cry. Not scared crying, not panicked crying, just release. Lenora rushed forward, pulled Harper into her arms, and Logan stepped back. Let them have their moment. His promise to David Connolly was kept. 6 months passed like water through fingers. The trial was almost boring by the time it had ended. Damien Cross had been convicted on all counts. 2 counts, first-degree murder for Rebecca and Claire. Attempted murder for Harper. Witness intimidation. Corruption. Money laundering. Life without parole. Judge Morrison got 15 years for obstruction. Sheriff Carver got 20. 3 county officials got various sentences. Garrett and Silas each received 15 years for attempted kidnapping and assault. They testified against Damien in exchange for reduced sentences. The whole system had to be rebuilt from scratch. But it was. Harper was 10 now, living with Lenora in a house in Portland with a rescue dog named Keeper and grades good enough for college scholarships people were already talking about. She visited the Iron Lantern once a month, not because she was broken, but because it was where her story changed. The coffee shop in Portland was warm and bright. Rain outside, but good rain now. The kind that washes things clean instead of hiding things dirty. Harper sat across from Logan in a booth. She looked different. Hair longer, smile easier. Still small, but not fragile anymore. So Aunt Lenora says I can get a bar, Harper said, if I keep my grades up. That's a good deal. I'm thinking about a rescue, one that's scared of people at first, so we can be scared together and then not scared together. Logan smiled. Smart. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Harper pulled something out of her backpack. A photograph. The one Logan had given her 6 months ago. I brought your picture back, she said. Of my dad. That's yours, I told you. I know, but I wanted to give you something back. She handed him a different photo, newer. Harper and Lenora at the coast. Harper smiling for real. Wind in her hair, ocean behind her. That's me happy, Harper said. I wanted you to have it, so you know your promise worked. Logan's throat tightened. He took the photo. Thank you. Do you still feel guilty about not checking on us sooner? Logan considered lying, decided Harper deserved truth. Sometimes, yeah. Mom wouldn't want you to feel guilty. She'd want you to feel proud because you kept your promise, even if it was later than you wanted. When'd you get so wise? Harper shrugged. My therapist says I'm processing trauma through perspective taking and mature emotional regulation. She paused. I think that means I'm just tired of being so. That's fair. Are you still about my dad? Every day, Logan said honestly, but it's different now. It's not just what I'm. It's grateful too, because he was my friend, and because he trusted me with you. Harper nodded. He sounds like he was a good person, the best person I ever knew. Then I'll try to be like him, brave and kind, and someone who keeps promises. Logan's eyes burned. You already are. 1 year turned into 2. Harper was 12 now, taller, wearing a leather jacket that looked like it came from Rosa. She walked into the Iron Lantern with Lenora. Logan stood looking at the new plaque on the wall, brass, engraved, in memory of Claire Connolly, who fought for justice with her last breath, and David Connolly, who taught us the meaning of promises kept. The bravest thing isn't the fight. It's standing up when you're the smallest person in the room. Below the plaque, a photograph. Claire and David on their wedding day. Young, happy, alive. You're early, Logan said. Aunt Lenora drives fast. Harper looked around the bar. It looks the same. Should it look different? I don't know. I thought places change when you did. Some do, some don't. Harper walked over to the corner booth, the one where she'd hidden. She stood there for a moment, touched the table. I used to have nightmares about this place, she said. About being under that table, about him coming through the door, but not anymore. Now I dream about it different. How? I dream about being brave, about choosing to ask for help instead of hiding, about finding you. She looked at Logan. This is a good place. It saved my life. Rosa came out from the back, saw Harper, grinned. There's my girl. You ready? Ready for what? Logan asked. Harper pulled out a folder. I'm doing a school project about heroic acts. I'm interviewing the people who helped me. Rosa, Deputy Brennan, Agent Dawson, Trooper Wade, Razor, Mouse, Vince, she paused. And you. I'm not a hero. You kept a promise to a dead man even when it was hard, even when it was dangerous. That's a hero. I just did what anyone would do. No, Harper said firmly. Most people look away. You didn't. That's the difference. She set up a small recorder on the table. So, interview. Question 1. What made you decide to help me that night? Logan thought about it, really thought. Your dad, he said finally. I saw you under that table and I remembered David. Remembered him talking about his little girl, about wanting to see her grow up, about all the things he was going to teach you. And I thought he can't do those things. But maybe I can do one thing, just one. Keep you alive long enough to become whoever you're supposed to be. Harper's eyes were wet. Did it work? I don't know. Who are you supposed to be? I'm still figuring that out. But so far, I'm someone who tells the truth. Someone who asks for help when she needs it. Someone who doesn't hide anymore. She smiled. I think my dad would be okay with that. He'd be proud as hell. Harper finished the interview, packed up her recorder, then she did something unexpected. She took off the small iron pendant Logan had given her, the one forged from David's ring, and handed it back to him. You're going to need this, she said, for the next person. What next person? My man. The next person who's scared, who needs someone to stand up, who needs someone to keep promises. Harper smiled, because that's what you do now. That's your thing. Logan stared at the pendant. I'm not running a rescue service. No, Harper said. You're just a guy who keeps his word, and that's rarer than you think. She hugged him quick. Thank you, Logan, for everything. Then she left with Lenora. Logan stood there holding the iron pendant. Behind him, Rosa leaned on the bar. She's right, you know. You've got a reputation now. Couple people have come by asking if the stories are true, if you really took down Damian Cross. I didn't take him down. The evidence did. You got the evidence. You protected the kid. You stood up when a lot of people would have called the cops and walked away. Rosa smiled. You're a hero whether you like it or not. Logan shook his head, but he clipped the pendant back onto his keychain. Just in case. 2 years became 5. Harper was 15 now, high school, still living with Lenora, still seeing a therapist, still doing okay. Better than okay. She visited the Iron Lantern once a month. Sometimes she brought people with her. Other kids, scared kids, kids who needed somewhere safe. Today she brought someone, a girl, 13, black eye hidden behind makeup, hands twisting nervously. Logan, Harper said. This is Amy. Amy, this is Logan. Logan saw the bruises on Amy's wrists, the fear in her eyes, the backpack clutched tight. He saw Harper 2 years ago. Coffee? Logan asked Amy. Amy nodded, didn't speak, didn't have to. Harper caught Logan's eye, nodded toward the corner booth. Logan understood. Amy, you want to sit down? You look tired. Amy walked to the booth, sat, and when her stepfather's voice came through the door 5 minutes later, asking if anyone had seen a missing girl, Amy didn't run. She just looked at Logan, and every biker in the Iron Lantern stood up. Again, 10 years after that night when Harper crawled under a table, she graduated high school with honors, full scholarship to University of Oregon, planning to study law, specifically victim advocacy. The graduation ceremony was outside in June sunshine. Logan sat with Lenora Rosa Razor Mouse. Agent Dawson was there. Even Deputy Brennan, now Detective Brennan, showed up. When Harper walked across the stage to get her diploma, the whole section erupted in applause. At the after-party, Harper found Logan standing alone looking at the sunset. You're being antisocial, she said. I'm being reflective. That's just antisocial with better vocabulary. Logan smiled. When'd you get funny? I've always been funny. You just weren't listening. They stood in comfortable silence. I've been thinking, Harper said, about that night, about running to the Iron Lantern, about hiding under your table, and I realized something. What? I wasn't hiding, I was choosing. I could have run anywhere, to a police station, to a neighbor, to a church, but I went to you because my mom told me you kept promises. And even though I was 8 and scared and didn't know what was going to happen, I trusted that. She looked at him. Thank you for being the kind of person my mom could trust. Logan's voice was rough. Your mom was the brave one. She set everything in motion. And you finished it. We finished it. Harper nodded. Yeah, we did. She pulled out something from her bag, a small box, handed it to him. What's this? Open it. Inside was a new iron ring, forged from the same metal as the original, but this one had an inscription inside. Promises kept. David Clare Harper. Logan stared at it. I had it made, Harper said, from the original shrapnel your friend gave you, because you wore out the first ring keeping promises. So now you have a new one. For new promises. She smiled. I'm going to keep helping people like Amy, like me, like all the scared kids who don't know where to go. And I'm going to need someone who keeps promises, someone who stands up, someone who doesn't look away. I'm getting too old for this. You're 58. You're fine. I ride a motorcycle. I drink too much coffee. You saved my life, Harper said simply, and you gave me a future. So now I'm asking you keep doing it. For other kids, please. Logan looked at the ring, at Harper, at the life she'd built from ashes. "'Kay," he said. Harper hugged him on, "Thank you." 10 more years passed. Harper was 28, law degree, working as a victim advocate. She ran a program out of the Iron Lantern 3 nights a week. Logan was 68, grayer, slower, but still wearing the iron ring. They'd helped 87 kids in 20 years. 87 kids who'd walked through the door scared and walked out with somewhere safe to go. Not all the stories ended clean. Some kids went back. Some situations were too complicated for simple solutions. But they tried, every time. They stood up. Tonight a new case. Boy, 15, bruises on his face, came in asking for Harper. She wasn't there. Logan was. "Harper's at court," Logan said. "But I can help. What's your name?" "Marcus." "Okay, Marcus. Tell me what happened." Marcus told him. Logan listened. And when Marcus's father came through the door 30 minutes later demanding his son back, Logan stood up. And so did everyone else in the Iron Lantern. Again, the way they always would. Harper was 42 now, district attorney, married, 2 kids of her own. Logan was 76, retired from the bar, living in a small house near the coast. But he still wore the ring. They met for coffee once a month. Same coffee shop in Portland. Harper's kids were with her today. Emma 9, David 7. "Uncle Logan," Emma said, "Mom says you're a hero. Your mom exaggerates. She says you saved her life when she was little." Logan looked at Harper. "Your mom saved herself. I just opened the door." Harper smiled. He opened the door, and then he stood in front of it until I was safe. David, named after his grandfather, tugged Logan's sleeve. "Can I see the ring?" Logan showed him. "It's not very pretty," David said seriously. "No, but it's strong and it means something." What? Logan thought about David Connolly dying in the Afghan desert, about Claire Connolly recording her murder, about Harper crawling under a table in a biker bar, about 87 kids over 20 years, about promises kept and futures saved. It means when someone asks for help, you help them, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, because that's what good people do. David nodded like he understood. He probably didn't, not yet, but he would. Harper walked Logan out to his truck later. "Thank you," she said, "for the 1,000th time." "For what?" "For not looking away 34 years ago, when you could have just called the cops and gone back to your beer." Logan smiled. "Your dad would have kicked my ass if I did that." Yeah, he would have. They stood in the parking lot, rain starting again. "You ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't run to the Iron Lantern that night?" Harper asked. "Every day." "Me too." She paused. "I think about the version of me that didn't make it, the version where Damien caught me, or where nobody stood up, or where I was too scared to ask for help. But that's not what happened. No, because I had a mom brave enough to leave me a map, and I had you brave enough to follow it." Harper smiled. "That's the version I got, the lucky version." "It wasn't luck." "No," Harper agreed. "It was love, and promises, and people who stood up when it mattered." She hugged him. "I love you, Logan. Your family." Logan's voice was thick. "Love you too, kid." He drove home in the rain. 76 years old, more gray than not, hands stiff from arthritis, but still strong enough to stand up when it mattered. When he got home, there was a message on his machine. A woman's voice. Scared. "Mr. Maddox, my name is Jennifer. My daughter told me about you, about what you did for Harper Connolly. We need help, please. My husband, he's going to hurt us. I don't know where else to go. Please call me back." Logan stared at the machine. He was tired. He was old. He'd done his part. But he picked up the phone. Because that's what the ring meant. Because that's what David would have done. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand up one more time. He dialed. "Jennifer, this is Logan Maddox. Tell me what you need." And somewhere in whatever place soldiers go when they die, keeping promises, David Connolly smiled. Because his friend had kept his word. Not just for Harper. For all of them. For every scared kid who needed someone to stand up. For every person who crawled under a table and whispered please. The Iron Lantern's neon sign buzzed in the rain. Motorcycles lined up outside. Inside, the jukebox played. Cards shuffled. Beer poured. And in the corner booth, the one with the brass plaque that read, "Table of Sanctuary, may all who hide under it find protection and courage," a fresh set of flowers sat in a small vase. Because some promises aren't kept once. They're kept every day, every time someone walks through that door, every time someone asks for help, every time good people decide not to look away. That's what the Iron Ring means. That's what Harper learned. That's what Logan taught. And that's why 34 years after a small girl ran through the rain and crawled under a table, the Iron Lantern still stands, still opens its doors, still stands up, always.